and how are you guys doing? My name is Lizzie and I'm back again with another video. If you're new, thank you for stopping by. If you're returning, thank you for coming back. I'm so grateful. So I'm gonna talk about full body measurement. So I have a friend here. Her name is Queen. Yeah, so my friend is gonna help us here to know how to get our body measurements. She's a female, but male measurements don't have a very big variation, so we're gonna use her to demonstrate how to get body measurements. Yes, so I have a number of things you need to be able to get body measurements. So number one thing you need is a book and a pen. So this is a book and it has a list of body measurements. They're all listed there, so this is going to be our guide. And then we need a pen definitely, and we need a tape measure. Shall we have our body? So what's stopping us? I'm going to demonstrate on how to take body measurements generally, design in mind, but just general body measurements. Full body measurement. So if you are able to have your full body measurements, whether you're a tailor or a designer or just you just need to have your full body measurement, so that anytime you need a custom-made outfit, you don't have to go look for somebody to take your measurements. Yes, this is our tape measure. Our tape measure, it is numbered. It is numbered from 1 to 60 inches. It is 1 to 60 inches long, but there's measures that also go up to 100 inches. And on the other side, it is numbered in centimeters. For me, I'm gonna use inches. How to use your tape measure? I advise that you hold your tape measure from the beginning, where the number begins, the numbering. Make sure that it begins from 0. And once it begins from 0, it means the reading that you are taking is at the other end of the tape. So if my reading is 8, I'm gonna take the 8 each reading. Okay, so if you have a circular object, you put your tape measure around the circular object. The beginning of the measurement will be at 0, and then this, as you create the circumference, then where the tape measure, the two parts meet, that is where you take your reading. Okay, yeah. So we're going to start with the neck round measurement. So you begin from one side, and then you bring the tape measure, and where the 2 points meet, that is where you take your reading. So for example, this is 13. The next measurement that we are going to take is the bust. So take note, bust is for ladies and chest is for men, but it's still the same circumference measurement. So I'm gonna put my arm here, and then I'll pick the beginning of the tape measure, and then I'll bring it round until they meet. So from where they meet, that is where I take the reading. So this one gives me 34. And then remember, as you take the measurements, you record them. That is how you're supposed to do it. The next measurement is the underbust. Underbust, so this is the bust for a lady. Ladies have bust, men have chest. So for the chest and bust, it's just taking the circumference measurement. But for the ladies now, they have the underbust, because the bust is bigger than the underbust. So you have to bring your tape measure again around it, and then you take the measurements from under the bust. You see, now this is the bust and this is the underbust. So the underbust gives me 27. Then the next one is the waist. So the waist can be different depending on different design. So we're gonna take both low waist and high waist measurements. So high waist measurements, or waist round, so or waist circumference, you take it at the narrowest part between the bust and the lower part of the body, so that is 26. And then the low waist basically is where people wear trousers, skirts, design. So you bring your tape measure at the low waist, and you realize, okay, here I found 29 inches. So this is the lowest, and then the high waist is right there. The next measurement that we are gonna have is the hip measurement. So this one also applies to both men and women. Like part of the body. So the hips are right here. So again, it's the hip circumference. You bring your tape measure right there on the widest part, and you take your measurements. Mine is 40 inches. Then the next measurement is the shoulder width. Shoulder width. Now you have to assume you're doing this on a human being. The human being has to turn around. Then there is where the shoulder bone meets the arm. So that is the end of the shoulder. You take measurements from the end to one end to the other. That gives me 10.5. So that is the shoulder width. And then there is the shoulder round. This depends on if you want to do an off-shoulder outfit. So that is you just get your measurements around the arm, like around the shoulder, inclusive of the arms. If you want to get an off-shoulder, you need the shoulder round measurement. So that is what you get. For this one is 40.5. And then the next measurement is the arm length. This is what we do. Where we took the shoulder measurements from the starting point, that is will be the starting point of the arm length measurement. So I'm gonna put my tape measure here from the arm length through the elbow to the wrist. Through the elbow to the wrist. When you're taking body measurements on a human being, what you do is you tell the person to fold the arm slightly, like hold the hip, so that you take the measurements all the way here through the elbow to the wrist. Yeah, so it also depends on the design that you're going to make, because some people want very short sleeve, probably quarter, 3/4, wrist length, elbow length. It depends with what measurements you need. So we're going to take the bicep measurement. The bicep is this part of the body. So this is the bicep measurement. This is the elbow. This is 3/4. This is the wrist. Take note that when you're taking wrist measurement, you need to leave enough allowance so that when the person wears the cloth, it can allow the hand to come in, especially if you're not using a stretchy fabric. Make sure that, or you don't have a cuff or an opening, make sure that the sleeve of the outfit can pass through the hand. This is the bust height. Bust height, it is from the shoulder to the nipple. This is the bust. So we are going to take in the middle of the bust, right in the middle, that is our bust height. Okay, so this gives me 9.5. Shoulder to waist in front. Shoulder to waist is also called bodice. So shoulder to waist, you remember where we took our high waist measurement. So there it is. So when you take your shoulder to waist measurement, you just take the reading from where the shoulder begins to where the waist begins. So that is our shoulder to waist measurement, which is also called the bodice. If you want to make, like, this is a half coat for me, if I want to make a top, I'm gonna take measurements from the shoulder to the end, to where I want the top to reach. So like this is my top, it is at 24.5. Sometimes you want to make a crop top. It depends with where you want the length to reach. If you want a longer top, still it depends. So that is called the top length. If we take our shoulder to waist measurements, you realize that it's a bit shorter than the front. So you should be very keen, even when constructing garments, to make sure that we take correct measurements both at the front and at the back. We have the back width, what we call the back width. It's right here. Okay, mine gives me 14. And then the next measurement is hip height. So for the hip height, you take measurements from the waistline. This is the waistline to the hip line. Okay, so this is the waistline and this is the hip line. So mine gives me 9 inches. Then we are done with the top, and now we have to go to the bottom parts and also the full length. On to the next part of the body, which is the lower part. So the lower part has the thighs, the hips, the knees, the ankles. So Now, the next thing is the thigh round. So you just have to get your tape measure around the thigh, like this. Like that. And you get your thigh measurement, same to the knee circumference. If the knee circumference is 14 inches, and then the ankle circumference. You have the inseam. The inseam is here, right here, from the inner thigh, where the clutch is, to the end, and to the ankle down here. So this also depends with the design. If you want a short or a long trouser, depends with the length that you need. And then the outseam is right here from the waist going down. The outseam could be the same as trouser length, skirt length. So if you want a trouser that is long up to the ankle, you take it up to the ankle. If you want a short, probably you can have it at the thigh length, right before the knee, at the knee, slightly below the knee, depending on what design you are in. Yeah, so that is our measurement for the bottom part. And then there is the general length of an outfit that is taken right from the shoulder to the ankle, from the shoulder to the ankle, right here. Again, this depends on the design. Probably if you want to make a dress or a jumpsuit or a romper, you take the length up to where you want it to get to. Sometimes if you're constructing a dress that is flowing, probably a wedding gown, you have to give it enough allowance for puff. So you take your tape measure from there and you stretch it. You stretch it up to the length that you want. If you want to touch the floor, fine. And then you make adjustments as you construct. Yes, so basically that's it. There are other parts that you might want to measure if you want to make a cape and a hat or whatever it is. You might need the head circumference. You might need the length of the, this center part of the head to where you want the head accessory to reach. So thank you guys for watching. Yes, basically that's it. Kindly like, subscribe, and share.